This is part 3 of the Lake San Antonio trip, and we're fishing pre-spawn conditions. I'm out here fishing this big creek arm in Lake San Antonio. And to break down the lake, pretty much I have a sort of rods here, but the 3 things that you need to break down it would be like a reaction bait. I prefer a rip bait, just confidence, and depending on how deep the lake is or the structure I'm fishing, I usually use like a pointer 100s or pointer 85s, and or just Excalibur pointers. I use for jig wise, I mainly stick to finesse jigs. It's just something I can pitch around trees and work around points, and this is what I've been working all day. Had a few decent fish with going on it, but trim the weed guard down was something you should do for finesse jigs. For your jigs, if everybody's beating them up on a jig, you come to a lake, something you can do to them is trim the skirt down like I've trimmed the skirt down on this, put a real subtle trailer on it, and then trim that weed guard down. And then you have to have that finesse technique. I mean, this you could either pitch on a bed if you see a bed, or work it on points. Got it. It's either between a drop shot, shaky head, or brass and glass. Saying we're out west and all, but I preferably use a drop shot, and I'm going to drop shot some of these deeper trees on this outside edge right now. And what I'm doing, so I don't get snagged, is I take the hook, it's kind of like an Aaron Martin style, and I hook it in like that with a 1/4 ounce weight poured by my buddy Ken Meeks, and a number 2 Gamakatsu with 6-pound sea guard. These trees on the channel, we fished banks reaction on Main Lake all day, a few hits and a few short keepers, and pitch jigs to trees, and now I'm going to take a finesse approach. It's something most guys normally never do. The good thing about that hook show, I showed you how I hooked that worm. You barely get snagged in here without having to use a wide gap hook. And what I'm targeting is just the lanes in these trees. That was a bite actually right there. But I'm targeting the lanes in these trees, and kind of like when the water was down, little creek channels run through them, and makes little creek channels through these lanes, and the fish will sit in those little channels, and then when the wood gets warm, they'll pop up into the wood. And if they've seen a million jigs pitched in here today, a finesse worm is the best way to take it. I mean, you might not catch the biggest fish in these trees, but it's a good way to scrape the limit or catch a couple largemouths instead of going around running points, catching a few active smallies. And color choice, we have pretty clear water today. We have about 6 feet visibility, and there's a good shad population on this lake, so I use prism shad mainly. Colby Bassmaster, his ghost shad worm would work perfect for this. If you can check him out on his page, and I'll put a link somewhere around on the screen. But he made this worm with this buddy of his, and it's a great clear water worm. I'm gonna get some and try them, but for right now I'm gonna have to deal with Prism Shad by Robo. And, thanks. I mean, pre-spawn conditions. Stick to your 3 main basic baits: a finesse presentation, a jig, and a reaction bait. And kind of, if you have smallmouth and largemouth in the lake, fish Main Lake points for smallies mainly, rock chunk bank, and run those points with rip baits or blades, whatever, depending on the wind or whatnot. And then if you have largemouth we usually start staging on walls and creek channels in the backs of creeks and cuts, so they move up in these trees. What I'm starting getting now are largemouth. So I've got a few smallies today, but trying to catch largemouth, that should be staging on these deeper trees. I'm fishing a tree right now you can't see underwater that's about 20 feet of water. There's also trees, as you see in the background, like that under the water all the way up to the end of the creek. And alright, thanks.